It's a new season of the Photofocus Q&A show. I'm Ron Pepper. I'm a Bay Area photographer specializing in 360-degree photography. You can find me at ronpepper.com.
And I'm Rob Moroto. I am your commercial photographer specializing in architecture and real estate up in Canada. And, well, here we are. It's a new year. We're here.
Let's do it.
I need a beer. Let's go.
Crack it open, and we will mainly we'll say welcome to a new year, new season, and we do have a few questions from listeners. And I believe, Rob, we feel pretty good about being able to answer two of them.
Yeah,
two of them.
Well, we'll see what we can do. Like I said, we are not experts on everything. I'm a commercial photographer doing a lot of architecture, a lot of interiors. So, you asked me about how to do weddings. I'm not going to be the best person to talk about. But just like in one of was it our last Q&A back in December that we had David here?
I think it was two before, but yeah, we had the
was it two before?
The lawyer and photographer. Yeah,
that's right. And so if we've got questions that we can't answer, what we do is we just put them off to the side, wait until we got somebody that we can bring on board that can answer them properly, and then we'll have them answer it for us. So send in your questions.
And if anybody out there hasn't heard that, and if you're a photographer, unless you're extremely well established already and you have a lawyer, I would really recommend it, because there were so many great pieces of advice for the person starting out, just things to watch out for, to protect yourself. The last thing I want to deal with is legalese and everything, but he did it great. And I was glad to find out that it really, it's not that complicated once you sort of have the advice on what to go and do. So highly recommended. I think it's it must have been episode I don't know, maybe 9 or 8 last year or something. But it's
considering that we have like less than 100 episodes on the podcast itself, we should really know what the episode number was.
Yeah, and
with that being said,
well, we only started naming them seasons and episodes last year, so we really only have to think about those in the terms of 1 year. But it's all
just click rewind, 2-3 episodes ago, and you'll find it. It's with David Deal. You'll love it.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking, and I wanted to say, I said, Rob, let's, it's a new year. It's like, you can tell from my voice, I've been a little sick. Yeah. I had the thing that everybody gets. It wasn't a big deal, but I still have just the voice. So I was
it's sexy.
Yeah. All right. Some of the stuff's bothering me. I feel like being like the curmudgeon today or something. Do you want to talk about what bothers us? But anyway, the point is, I said, inflation's bothering me. And Rob goes, good, because we have a question about that. So why don't we just do that? It's a casual show. We just let it go free form. We'll see how long we go, but we probably won't keep you certainly not an hour, right, Rob? But we won't keep you that long. But
no, we never go over an hour.
Never. But I'll edit it down if I have to, but no, I don't. Rob and I like to record late too, so it's going to be late. So let's just do that without any more blabbing here.
Sure. Okay, so the question was, with inflation being so high, is it the right time to increase prices? Or is it advantageous to keep prices low?
Can I start out by saying there's going to be many right answers and probably no wrong ones here? It's so common in this, because I've been thinking about this this isn't exactly photography related, but it is, because we're talking about prices. And, the Photofocus show is, my understanding is most people listening a lot of people are pro. They're also side gig type photographers. There are a lot of people thinking about going pro. That's what I understand from feedback and from what I guess I'm one of the guys who's been around for a while, but anyway, that's what I understand.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Nope.
And so I'm very much paying attention to inflation from just on a financial standpoint, and I understand how it works. I'm just going to say it out loud. Most people don't know how the financial system works, and I'm not just talking about how to invest and stuff. I'm talking about how the Federal Reserve prints money and gives it out and lends it out. It didn't exist before. They just created it. And a lot more money's gone into the world in the last couple of years. And that's nothing new. It was happening before, but it's just ramping up and up higher and higher. So I feel it bothers me because it's not a natural thing. It's something that's created by this legal land thing. So anyway, outside of it bothering me, I think I'd have to increase prices. And I'm thinking, okay, for this conversation, we'll talk in terms of real estate because that's the main thing you do. And I do it too, just not mainly. But I do day rates for projects. And I'm actually, did I tell you, I'm going to go into the senior portrait business this year? Because
the senior portraits?
Yes, meaning...
Like old people?
No.
Like
the reason I laugh is because I thought the same thing several years ago when I heard about senior portraits. I go, okay. But no, we're talking high school seniors.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So
I'm glad it's not just me. That's what I wanted to say.
I was thinking like you're going to hit a bunch of senior homes and be like, hey, before you leave this earth, let me get a good picture for you because it's going to go onto a website somewhere with an obituary.
Hey, it's for posterity, but this is for the posterity of those graduating and they want to celebrate that. And I have a high school senior right now, and I've been doing photography for the sports team for the last few years. And so I know everybody. And so they're all asking me to do the senior portraits. And I'm like, well, yes, I have to do that. So
yeah, because what other portraits are the realtors going to use later in life?
20 years down the road, they're going to use their senior portrait on their business card. Do better, real estate people. Keep your portrait, your headshot up to date, please. And hire Rob and Ron.
Every 3 years.
Hire either Rob Moroto or Ron Pepper if you're in Rob's in Calgary and Vancouver Island. And I'm in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Okay, let's talk prices.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to cough.
Okay, well, enjoy coughing. So the thing I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about my business. Okay, so
I'm back.
In real estate photography, in the last year, okay, there was a huge boom in real estate. Like, real estate was selling left, right, and center. Yeah. We had more jobs than we could actually take. We were turning down jobs because we couldn't keep up with the volume. My guys were working I had guys that were doing like 10 to 12 appointments a day, 7 days a week, and we were just running rampant. It's nuts.
How many in a day did you say?
10 to 12.
I can't imagine that.
It's incredible.
Could they do good work? Could they do good work that way?
Oh yeah, we've got a workflow that's pretty dialed down so that it's quick, it's finish it. Everyone knows what they're doing.
They weren't editing their own.
Oh yeah, no, they were editing all of theirs, their own stuff, and getting it out within 24 hours, and it was good. But we also have a very good scheduler who was able to do okay, here's one house, the next house is 10 minutes away, next house is 10 minutes away, and so the drive times were really compact. But with that being said, it was busy. And now we're getting to the point where we had a huge influx of new photographers coming into the business because it was so lucrative. And in, I would say around June, July, as soon as the interest rate hikes started to really hit and people start to get scared about selling, scared about buying, and the sales start to drop, what we found was that the demand started to go down, but now all of these new guys that were coming into the industry to just try and become real estate photographers, well, they started coming in, and to stay alive, to compete, what do most people do? They drop their prices. So in an inflationary period, we've got new guys coming into the market who are really just dropping their pants just to get new business, right? So we got to this point where we're like, okay, so what do we do? Inflation's killing us. Gas prices are killing us. Do we increase our prices or do we stay the course? And part of it is, I know in my areas, we are all just watching each other to see what everyone else is doing. Because the top 3 companies that are in my area, we haven't changed our prices. I think we're all just waiting for the first person to increase their prices, and then it'll be like a domino effect. But I'm holding on to our prices, because one thing that happens with any kind of a service like what we do is that as soon as we increase prices, people will start looking for somebody else, right? They shop around. It's that catalyst that makes a person say, well, if you're increasing your prices, I should go around and see what others are charging just to make sure that I'm comfortable with your new prices, right?
Yeah.
And so to avoid that, in a period where the demand is low, we are keeping our prices the same. But at the same time, I also have to be cognizant that I'm paying my staff. Their cost of living is going up. Like, I don't know what it is like down there. I'm paying $6 for a head of lettuce up here. That's Canadian.
Well, that
but
sounds...
still $6.
Yeah.
A head of lettuce.
Like iceberg?
No, green leaf,
At least a good one. Okay, a good one.
At least a good one, yeah. It's not organic, but...
That does sound too high, even though everything it is completely insane. And so I feel like one thing about, staying the course is like, listen, the inflation is actually out there now. People actually talk about it. People are scared of it. It makes the news now, where normally they have, 2 or 3% inflation, and you might get I used to get a 3% raise when I had a salary. That was to keep up with inflation. But now people are getting hopefully more knowledgeable. At least they're aware of it. I hope they become knowledgeable about why it happens, because that's just one of my personal things that I like to be an activist about, is to get people to learn about that kind of thing. But now I feel like there is the opportunity to do it now while we can, a lot of people, clients included, might throw up their hands and kind of go, yeah, I know, I get it. It's been a tough few years. You're going to get that response, right? Mm-hmm. And things are changing fast. So I feel like it's an opportunity there where you have this kind of a cover, like an excuse, really. And so maybe it would be all right if you're going to do it. This is kind of what I think about, is if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it now. Mm-hmm. And especially a guy like you, well, I'm a one-man show, more or less. So it's my own cost of living that's going up that I'm talking about. But you have also, maybe it sounds better to say that, well, I need to give my employees raises because the cost of living is going up. So where's that going to come from? So if someone does actually talk to you about it, I think we could make up a good elevator speech about why it's happening. And and you know what too is when you're talking about someone. Oh, I have here's a wrinkle. If I'm talking about real estate clients, they're in business. They have their costs. They raise their things. They expect to be paid when they're going to get paid. Well, that's a little different than your parent hiring you to do a portrait or a...
Yeah. Well, it's also the repetitive...
customer either.
Yeah, it's a repetitive business versus the one time. Like, if you increase your prices, say you're a wedding photographer and you're charging $5,000 for a wedding, and then you just increase it to $6,000 for a wedding, well, I don't think anybody is going to notice, because... your last client's like, you know what? The last time you shot for me, it was only $5,000. Why are you charging me $6,000 now?
When I got married last year, and I'm getting married again.
Right? It's not going to happen. So I don't think that for that kind of photographer, it's going to matter very much. You can increase your prices as much as you think it is reasonable. I don't think that that's going to be a problem. However, if you do have a client, like for example, I know one of my friends does regular food photography. And so they go into a restaurant, and every 3 months they go in, they shoot the specials, they shoot all the things for social media, they shoot all the things for the upcoming seasonal things like Valentine's Day,
Excellent
Christmas,
gig.
Thanksgiving, right? It's very repetitive, but it's a set price every time he goes in. And so if he increases his prices, then all of a sudden the client will notice that. Just like if I raise my prices, my realtors are going to notice it, because, well, let's face it, they do anywhere from 2 to 20 listings a month, depending on who the realtor is. So if that happens, they're going to notice right away. I think for who sent this one?
Sorry, it was a little bit confusing. Was that Kevin? Kevin? Baltimore.
Okay, Kevin in Baltimore.
Sorry,
okay.
Kevin, we forgot to say that early on.
Thank you, Kevin. I've never been to Baltimore. I don't know much about Baltimore other than the fact that the Counting Crows made a great song about Baltimore years and years ago, back in the 90s, and I'm probably dating myself because of that. But, so Kevin, so the only thing I would say is, depending on what your field is, it's going to be easier if you don't have repeat clients to do it. I think it'll go unnoticed. If you do have repeat clients, though, here's a trick that we use for whenever we have to adjust pricing, is that we know from doing this for 14 years who our long-term clients are. We know who the clients are that we really, really want to keep happy. And for those guys, we say, hey, you know what? There is a price increase coming on. We're going to announce it. Don't worry. We have a special program for you that you are on that you will not be affected by those new prices for the next 12 months or the next 9 months or until the next calendar year. And then what happens is that they'll be like, oh, that's great, because they think that they're getting a discount now, right? They're getting a better deal. And especially now when the inflation is so top of mind and so forefront, they'll be like, oh my God, yeah, I expected you to raise your prices, but thank you for not increasing my prices.
Right.
And that'll increase your loyalty. So,
sorry. I think it's a good strategy to, a good strategy could be that you do raise it for new customers, for instance. That depending, I mean, again, this is pretty extreme inflation. No, this is really extreme inflation. I think to the point where we're rolling our eyes now, but you haven't seen nothing yet, because if it goes up, if it's like 8% last year and this year it's going to be like 6%, those are increases. It's not going down.
No,
that 8% already happened, and then there's going to be another 6%. And I'm of the belief that the reported one isn't really that accurate. I think it's higher. So anyway, it's pretty extreme. So my main advice, because we should probably get to the next question, but my main advice, if I could wrap it up. Oh, sorry. Before I do that, I wanted to say that the idea of having a monthly thing, I've heard some photographers are pricing in kind of like a subscription, like or a retainer, where they get paid monthly, and then they have a certain amount of things that they're expected to do every month, and they do it. And I think if you can do that, I think it's wonderful. But to wrap it up, I think if you feel like you need to raise prices, you probably do. If you're just wondering because you've heard there's inflation, maybe you don't. But if you're feeling it, make sure you have that. I don't want to call it self-respect. It's the only word I can think of. That the confidence to say that, those prices are not working for you if you're really feeling it. And if you're a meat eater, you feel it. If you're apparently a lettuce eater in Canada, you feel it. If you're certainly in California, I can say so many things have gone crazy. So if you feel like it, don't be embarrassed. It's a professional thing to do. It's all over the world. People who are in the money business, they don't expect to get paid less and less, because that's what's happening. When inflation happens, it means the money we have is worth less. So you're getting pay cuts every year. So don't take a pay cut. Be confident about it. Be sure about it, and confident when you discuss it. Is don't be apologetic. Just explain nicely, but still empathetically to the person. And I'm just thinking, this is just for me. Okay. I'm saying I would avoid kind of going that, well, I'm sorry, but kind of route, and go, let me just explain what's going on. We're a small business and okay. So that's, I didn't really wrap it up very tight, but that's my answer.
Yeah. No, and the only other thing that I got to put in with that is that we're all in the same boat here. The only thing that I would say is that we have to make sure that, especially in times like this, we have to be very careful and have a justified increase. So what always just makes me want to tell someone to go milk a rooster is that when they have a product, their costs haven't changed on it at all, and then they just increase it because it's like, well, inflation. That is just price gouging. Really, it is. It's just taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, don't be that management person or that like the bigger the bigger the companies are, the more they feel like they should just do this because they should do it, where they're not for real reasons. It reminds me of the you remember when they gave out all of those free money and loans during COVID, the early part, and I remember that it went public that the Lakers took millions, the LA Lakers.
Really?
And I think they gave it back. I'm pretty sure they gave it back because everyone went, "What is going on?" But I'm pretty sure it was just some person who didn't really think it through. They just said, "Oh, there's money. Yeah, we'll just fill out this form and we'll get this money." I think they probably, I'm just going to think that they weren't trying to do anything wrong necessarily. They just figured, "Oh, money. Yeah, that's my job, bringing money. So here we go."
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Okay. So are we ready to throw Kevin's paper in the garbage? And
I think so. And you know what? It's funny. Like, you know how they always say, like, Thanksgiving dinner, 3 things that you should not talk about: politics, religion, money. And here we are. Well, we haven't talked about religion on this show yet, but we talk a lot about money, and every single time it's like, it doesn't feel good.
That's one thing I really, yes, I do want to keep it photography related, but I'm sorry, I'm just, I think it's within our job here to share our opinions, and I really do wish, I wish people knew. I think it was pretty sure the quote is attributed to Henry Ford, who said, "If the people understood how the financial system worked, there would be riots in the streets." And I think that's true to this day, even worse probably than then, just by numbers. Not that it's less corrupt, just that the numbers are bigger and bigger and bigger. And,
exactly.
So I will, unless someone tells me I'm not allowed, I'll share some opinions. But let's bring it for that. On that note, let's bring it. The next one is about photography directly.
Perfect.
Which is the only one that's really about directly photography. But this is Jim in Cincy. I assume that's Cincinnati. Hey, 2 places I've never been. Except the airport. Cincinnati, Ohio. I've never been there, or Baltimore. So I thought I'd been to most places.
Wait a second. Isn't Baltimore in Ohio?
No, Baltimore is Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever. I haven't. I've been to a lot of cool places around the world, but I've never made it to those 2 places.
You have too many states down there to keep track of.
Fair. Hey, most people wouldn't be able to tell you what province is Calgary in. So
yeah, it's it goes ocean, cold, ocean.
And
so,
isn't Montreal famous for something?
French people.
Something else? Oh, I thought it was like. Should I just say it?
A great. Oh no, I was going to say a great hockey team, but I don't know how they've been doing lately. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
Enough about Canada. This one from Cincy is. Can you explain why the wide-angle lens makes portraits make faces look fat?
Good job,
nice.
Jim. I like it. Okay, so, oh my god, I actually had to do this with. I had a 8mm fisheye, and one of my kids asked me to take a photo of our dog to make it look like one of those, those stuffed animals with like the bulging eyes and the big head and small body.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to do that with one of our dogs. So
like in a cartoon when you squeeze a cartoon head and the eyes pop out.
Yeah, something like that. But have you seen these stuffed animals that they sell at Toys R Us? Do you have a Toys R Us down there?
Not anymore.
I think not anymore. Used to. Yeah, it's just these little stuffed animals where the head is gigantic and it has a small little body. And
well,
I could take that photo by just getting very close. But why does a wide-angle lens make the portrait face look fat?
I wonder if Mr. Cincinnati is wondering what the scientific optical reasons are, because I hope not. I just know how they work, which is so I hope what he's looking for is like this, where like if you, a selfie camera on most phones and a wide angle, which is a wide angle lens, of course. Or if you get up pretty close to someone and take it, like if you take a portrait of somebody with a 35 millimeter lens, for instance, their face looks distorted, round, the nose looks bigger, right? It just doesn't, it's not a good portrait. And hey, okay, well, Jim's not a long-term photographer, I'm going to guess, because, a portrait lens needs to be relatively long because it slims everybody down and looks, I think 50 to 70, 50 to 70 is quite realistic, right? Like what your eye...
Yeah, because everyone uses the 20...
85 or the 24-105 for Canon.
20 to 70, 2.8.
24-70, yeah. Or the 7200 or 7200. Yeah. And those are fantastic portrait lenses. And what I always... It's so just funny because some of the things you don't really remember why, you just know, like a 50 millimeter lens is kind of what your eye sees. And we're talking full frame camera, so if you have something else, figure out the equivalents. But so once, people love those 85 millimeter prime. That's like I think it's Nikon, a lot of Nikon shooters love that one, prime for portraits, because a little bit longer, then it starts to get flattering too. So, so anyway, if you are up too close to someone, then you clearly have a wide angle lens. Otherwise you'd be looking only at their nostril or something if it's a long lens. So yeah, you get very distorted. So don't do that. If you're taking a portrait, 50 millimeters at least, probably 70 at least, I would say. But
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the other thing too is, the wide angle lens then has there will be more depth of field and focus on a wide angle lens. So as you go longer lens, you can also blur the background when you're talking your classic portrait that just has head and shoulders and a blurred background, or like a sports photo where you have a whole person with the crowd in the back, very, very, very out of focus. That's the intention, right? So I know this is photography 102, not the very first, but it's pretty soon. But those things are classic recommendations for portraits, all right. And so I hope, Jim, you're not asking like what the science behind why that happens is. I couldn't tell you. The shape of the glass does that.
No, but I'm going to do this though. Okay.
Sweet.
All right.
Save me.
All right. So Jim, here it is. If I'm going to use the idea of taking a selfie with your iPhone, and you've got that phone probably around 4 inches from your face. Okay. All right. If it's 4 inches, not feet, 4 inches from your face, that means that the lens is 4 inches from your nose, but now it's 8 inches from your ear, roughly. So what it's going to do is it is going to make your nose twice as large as your ear is. And so as soon as you start putting it into that kind of context, you'll understand that it's like, oh, okay, my nose is twice as close as my ear, therefore my nose is going to look twice as big as my ears. That means that my cheeks are going to look a whole lot bigger than, say, anything else behind it. So this actually works out really well for people who are taking selfies. Because if you are a selfier and you want your body to look smaller, you can actually put your phone above your head, keep your head a little bit closer to the phone, then proportionately your head will look bigger than your body. And if you have more mass on a lower part of your body and you don't want it to look as massive, then by putting it farther away will make it look smaller.
Practical advice for, say, dating apps and your Instagram people that are out there showing off.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And for guys who want to make their upper bodies look bigger than their lower bodies, that works too. So, I have a general lack of pectoral muscles. So if I was to shoot from a higher, it might make my pectorals look bigger. Anyways, that's Jim, thank you for the question. Pictorials. Yes, I am pictorially challenged.
Don't you love it? Don't you love it when you see those photos that people use them for real? You know, it's a selfie. Mm-hmm. They use it for real things. They put that out there as they're like, why?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's exactly why most people, if you're in a profession that requires a headshot, I'm not going to name a profession that I usually work for, but if your headshot is more than 3 years old, get a new headshot, stay current. Mm-hmm. Your clients will respect you for that.
When you raise prices, you could say, hey, just to show a gesture, let me update your headshot for free.
Don't give stuff away for free. No? You're devaluing yourself.
Okay.
Ron!
Maybe it's
okay, next question.
Money that you wouldn't have had. They wouldn't have hired you anyway. So I don't know. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. We're throwing that away. So we just have one more today. So let's see. We're half an hour.
This isn't too bad.
You want to take that one or read
sure.
that one?
It says, "Hey guys, I listened to your podcast and you mentioned AI making photos. Do you guys use AI for your work? Specifically, do you use Adobe AI or no? What is it? Open AI. Okay, and that's from Annabelle.
Annabelle didn't say. Annabelle from Parts Unknown. Okay, we didn't say.
No.
Well, I want to say I have one quick. The first thing sorry, I know my brain is crunching. Okay, I don't think AI makes photos exactly.
Well, no, we did though. Well, okay, images. Let's just say images. Yeah. Like,
but
we did that before, where we were like, okay, try a unicorn and a wolf in a forest, and it came up with something.
Yeah, well, am I just getting too nitpicky when I was like, yeah, it makes art and it makes images and everything, but that's not making a photo exactly. Like a photo is still of a person that you're doing. So am I just being nitpicky? I don't know. It doesn't replace me making a headshot of my client, right?
No,
it's not going to do that. It's not going to say, hey, I need to order a headshot of Rob Moroto. I want a background of the mountains and a sunset. It's not going to do that.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I hope.
Okay,
so I don't know. I'm probably just going a little bit, but it makes you ask it to make art, and no, I do not use it for my work. You, Rob?
Yes.
Tell us more. Then you're the one. It's in your court. It's in your.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing about AI is that AI can do whatever you want it to do. Essentially, it takes a whole bunch of inputs, figures out what you want, and it creates an output, right? Mm-hmm. So, what was that Google one? GPT-3, which is Google Predictive Text 3.
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT, yeah. Okay, so Google has that. So you can actually get AI to write stuff for your social media, for example. There's a...
Yeah, if we're going to go down that route, yeah.
Right? So it's very easy to do that. You can actually get your... get AI to actually create content for you. There was an interesting podcast that I was listening to where they said, what you have to do is very simple. You research and just Google what are the top trending video topics on YouTube. Find it, download one, put it through a AI that will recreate content that is very similar to that, rewrite it as original content, and then you get a different AI to produce a video of that based on the set of images and set of video clips that you put in there. And it will splice and dice and put it together and make the same video just recreated. And I thought, wow, that's brilliant. But I will not do that because I do feel that there is a moral issue with that. But AI is not a moral thing. It is a technology shortcut thing. It is, telling your it's a shortcut. It's really
I agree. It's a shortcut. Well, first of all, I feel a little bit like Finn in Star Wars. I'm like, wait, they're making videos now? You can make AI videos now? Oh, because, okay, so when Annabelle was asking, do I use it for work? I'm thinking like, do I go out and shoot and use it for replacement of photos? No. But on the other hand, I fully intend, as I kind of get around to things, using it for things like creating a YouTube thumbnail, maybe doing research, like for instance, write me a summary of such and such that I need, and then I can either, that's for my knowledge, or if I'm doing it for something else, like if I ever get back to doing written blog posts or something, I could have it write something, and then I could use it as like a first draft and edit it down, change it, put in my voice, make it my voice and stuff like that. Then I do intend to do stuff like that. But I guess from photographically speaking, are we going to go, okay, you want to make what's something people do is, you get a job shooting corporate headshots. So you go for a day or a couple of days, you set up and you have everybody gets kind of funneled through, and can AI do that? I hope not. I need, ask the AI, here's our list of employees. I need headshots of every one of them. Is it going to go find photos of them on the internet and create one that is, I don't know, maybe it will, but I don't think we're there yet.
So that is actually something that I played with today. Believe it or not.
It's back in your court.
Okay. So there is this website called runwayml.com. And if you want to try something really cool, go check that out. runwayml.com. We'll put that into the show notes here. But the thing that drew me to this was that it's using AI to do things in video that we can easily do in photos. So, for example,
oh my gosh,
imagine this. You have a video of, say I'm doing a video of a exterior of a home. And in the video, there is a power line in the background that's really obtrusive. And because this is a show home, it's not for real estate, not for MLS, it's not for reselling of a product.
Otherwise, that would be against the rules. That would be like dame dayo.
Yep, that would be very much a deception. What was it? What was it called? It's
legally they can't do it.
Legally, they can't do it. But if it's a show home, you're perfectly allowed to do it, because a show home is a model of, you're just showing the model of the house, right? So this AI can actually take out the power line. And you're talking about videos. So if you think about 24 frames per second for like a 3-second clip, there's 74 images that are being done. And this is done with AI. The AI will take that out. You can get the AI to even color grade it and say, hey, you know what? I want this to look like Pulp Fiction. I want it to look like Shawshank. I wanted to make this look like Casablanca, where it's black and white. Whatever movie you put into it, it will do that. So you can use the AI in that sense. You can also do it where, here's the cool one that I liked, was replace the sky. And if you're doing video, unlike with photos where we use HDR and we can have the sky in the photo being nice and blue, use Photoshop, use sky replacement, get rid of it, whatever. We can't do that in video, right? But with this, you can. And you can just say, hey, OpenAI, or sorry, what was it? Runway ML.
Runway.
Just change the sky to a nice blue sunny sky. And so it will change that.
It's a lot like doing like people will do sorting and number crunching and stuff programmatically, like a spreadsheet, or make a script to change things that are repetitive. So it's kind of like doing that on 30 frames a second or however many, right? Okay, that's fascinating.
It's able to do that and replace an entire sky for a video, which is just nuts. And so this AI is fantastic. You said, okay, so specifically, do you use OpenAI? So OpenAI, I haven't had a chance to do it. I do have friends and colleagues that are using it. I have I have a friend of mine who is a psychologist who is actually using OpenAI to help storyboard her courses and her ongoing therapy courses, which is, I think, is brilliant. And her husband, who does a lot of I believe he's a management consultant, and so he consults with lots of companies, and he's going through it and doing the same thing. Like, here, use OpenAI to write your scripts for your social media. Use OpenAI to help recreate your rewrite your all your web content. And here's the best one: use the AI to translate your website into different languages for you.
Oh,
right. So
and that's going to be better than when I've used like Google Translate and stuff before. It's going to be better because like I speak enough Spanish that I can tell that it's wrong. Like when I would get a translation, I would have to edit it. But is it going to be better?
Yes, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's better or not. And the reason I say that is because how do I put this? If you are hiring a professional translator to translate directly from English to another language, then they're going to charge you one rate. If you already have it translated into a language, you don't actually need a translator to translate it. You can have anyone who is a native speaker of that language to just edit it.
Edit it, yeah.
Right? And to make it...
No, I guess what I'm saying is we already have lots of translators. They're just not that good. So is this AI going to be better?
The AI will be as good, or it will be as good as what has been put into it. So I don't know about OpenAI and how good their translators are, but considering the amount of investment that's gone into it, and if you look back at the history of OpenAI, I believe this is one of those Elon things that he threw a couple of million into just for the F of it. And yeah,
kicks.
Yeah, exactly. It's his pet project. The
OpenAI is going to be it's coming at the it's tackling the issue in a different way. The translator is just translating it directly, word for word, or maybe not even word for word, maybe sentence by sentence or something. But the AI is coming at it from a different angle, where the whole idea, just for anybody listening who doesn't know, AI it's not actually intelligent. It's not figuring things out. It's just basing its answers on many, many, many inputs. So machine learning is a fast way to learn, but it's not using logic and figuring things out. It's based on all of these tons and tons of inputs. It's going to have an output. So I don't know what it's going to do for translations. Oh, and in fact, I'm thinking that since it's based on all the inputs of internet, I suppose, when you're talking about language translation, it's reaching out to get written content from all over the internet. But so you're going to have probably better and worse translation, just depending on how much the language is used, because there'll be a lot less input for a language that isn't used very much, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
so it's probably good expectation to think that the translators won't work as well for a language we don't hear of.
No. So it's interesting. And would I use AI for much else? Yes. There's like for the video stuff, the runway ML is amazing, because all it's supposed to do is to shorten the workflow. So it's going to be there to help you decrease the amount of time that you would have to do. Like you could, there's one option where I saw where it does automatic clipping of a subject. So you can have a subject running across something, and you can clip it. So you can have yourself doing the floss, and then you can clip that and make a transparent GIF out of it, and use that onto Instagram or whatever you want to do. But if you think about the more cinematic uses of it, it's pretty cool. Like you could have titles. So for example, if you want to do a title where you have a person running across a scene, but then you know how like in the movies they have it a person running and then they have like the movie title there and they're running in front of it, so it looks like the text is behind them. Mm-hmm. Like you can do stuff like that. You can you can add things into spaces and really layer it and just play with it. So the AI is
the AI of the selections AI that's out there in Adobe now.
Yeah,
where they'll automatically select people, and so then again, I assume that Adobe is using each time it's used. It's supposed to be learning from it. I assume that's what they're doing. So that should get better and better.
Yeah. Huh. But that's really cool. The other one so this is the one that I played with. You can upload a series of photos, like 30 photos of yourself, onto it, and it will make a portrait of you.
Oh yeah, so, that's is that Lensa?
No, this is Runway ML, and it's neat because they charge you $10 for it, but whatever. You get 100 different images of yourself, and you can tell it to say, "Hey, I want to make myself look like this," or add this, and it's just really cool. Like this is a new cool thing. Like remember when we first got the flip cell phones and we could play Pong on the cell phone?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that.
You could play simple 2-player games as long as you're in the same general area. You could play cross-phone games.
Yeah, like I remember when I got I think I got Tetris on my Palm Pilot, and oh my god, if anyone asks me what a Palm Pilot is, I'm going to just freak. Anyways,
what's a Palm Pilot?
Shut up, Ron.
But you threw it up there like a softball, right?
But it's the same thing. It's not the fact that it's that much of an amazing thing that you just have to try it. It's so cool, but it's so novel that you want to try it. Like I just want to play with it. I
would definitely recommend anybody that's just, it's all over the place. People are talking about it, and I think tons of people are just thinking it doesn't really make any sense to me, so they kind of let it go in one ear and out the other. But I would say definitely play with it. Like I jumped on to play with these things early on, and just to see what kind of artwork could come out, and by putting an input, like I just gave it some, show me a 80s retro something or other, I can't remember, and I wasn't impressed with it or anything, but it was just me goofing around. But now it's happening so fast, growing so fast, and I hadn't heard of the Runway, the one you said, until you said it. So there are quite a few options out there, and I would just say for anybody, just give it a try and see what it's all about, love it or hate it, because it is the future. The future is here, Yeah. And I just realized too, I should have thought of this before while we're talking, we're going to be, if you're, pretty soon, you already have Siri and Alexa and all them, and so pretty soon you'll be able to be like, computer, find a video of so and so and clip out the best 5 seconds for and it'll be able to do that for you, and you'll just be like Star Trek style. And
right.
I look forward to that, even though I think it's creepy.
It is, but there's a part of me where I absolutely love the idea of Tony Stark's Jarvis, right? Like that is incredible to be able to
just get on your Oculus and download the Iron Man game.
Yeah, right. Just
pretty solid, pretty good.
Really, eh?
Yeah. Yep. It's more Friday than Jarvis, but you can use Jarvis, I believe, but I haven't seen that yet.
Really? I gotta play with that. I gotta get myself an Oculus.
I'm surprised you don't have one.
I'm a parent of 3. I'm poor.
You're a gadget guy and a parent of 3. Those are the reasons to have it.
No, I'm a gadget guy, but only if it helps me make money with my company. So any of the other stuff.
I thought I would be into that stuff earlier because I've been a 360 guy, and therefore that gets used in 3D, and so I thought I would be doing all of these virtual walkthroughs and stuff, but it never looked good. It was such a kind of a disappointment. I ended up just getting it for Beat Saber because it's the coolest game ever. And then if I can ever get a chance to play with it, because either being used or the battery's charging, one or the other, so it's hard for me to get on it. But
one day I'm gonna convince Kai to take a video of you while you're doing Beat Saber, and we'll put it up onto YouTube or something.
I have videos of me Beat Sabering.
So, if anybody out there is wanting to see a picture of Ron doing Beat Sabering, please send that to us questions at photofocus.com, or better yet,
photography questions.
Better yet, go to wherever you found this podcast and leave us a review. And in that review, say, I want to see Pepper beat Saber. Please do that for me.
I'm just surprised. Hey, I know how to saber anyway in real life a little bit, but it looks goofy, but I'm just surprised how big I look in the. We have a pretty big living room. I fill it up with my 6'2" size and everything. I'm like, geez, do I look that big?
You're probably shooting from a lower angle, so you look bigger.
I was going to tie it into what we were saying before. Yeah, that's exactly it. Is you get a kid videoing it, well, they're looking up, so I look bigger for that reason. Yeah, there you go. We tied it into one of the questions. Well, awesome. And then we also need to thank our sponsor. I'm just throwing away that last. Oh, I missed the can. There you go. We need to thank our sponsor. We didn't do it at the beginning, so we'll do it at the end.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Photofocus. What I know.
Photomatix. Thank you for Photofocus for hosting the audio and the articles and being an awesome community. By the way, if you haven't before, if you're a listener, if you're like, I'm changing the subject a little bit. If you're like me, I came up a podcast listener before I was ever doing them, and I never really read articles or anything. That was just, we all take in information different ways, right? So if you're like me and you're a podcast listener and you don't realize that there are new articles every day on Photofocus, and a lot of them are really quick on purpose so that you don't have to feel like you can't do it because you don't have time. And there's also a community that's a sign up, and it's a free thing, but it's a cool community, and people are giving constructive criticism and shooting the breeze and stuff on there. So check those out. And I hijacked what you were saying. You said thank you, Photofocus, and we do. Our sponsor is Photomatix for high dynamic range photography. Version 7 coming soon. It's still in beta. And Rob, you and I are going to do a couple demos on that, right?
Yes, and the scariest thing about that is that we're actually going to be doing them live, and then they're going to be recorded live, and they're going to stay on the internet, not live, but you can reread them, re-listen to them, re-review them at any time, and see how we actually are without editing. So,
well, this show will be unedited, right?
You're going to edit this, aren't you?
No, we dropped no bad words. I don't feel like I did a little of my, I do stammering while I'm thinking, but that's just how I talk. I'm sorry. I don't think we did too much where we did a lot of pausing and things, because it's just the two of us. When we have a round table, there's 4 of us on, and a lot of times we're kind of hard to throw it back and forth and know who's supposed to talk and stuff. So sometimes I'll cut down some, usually it's when I talk over other people, but I'll cut those out. But this one, no, we're just going to throw it up there.
Okay.
And I'll just put something on the beginning and end, and then we'll throw it up there. But we'll record it live, Rob, but it'll still be there. So check out, it'll be Facebook Live, and I think I can put it on, it's the HDR Soft. Facebook and YouTube should work.
Okay.
And so you can check, it's under HDR Soft. That's the company rather than Photomatix, and you'll find that on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll do some quick demos, probably keep them short as well. And, well, hey, if we really need to edit it, then I guess we can do little things. But anyway, check it out if you're interested. The main new thing is a new way of doing batch where you can, like, let's say you come in from shooting a property or your vacation or something, and you can run the batch, and it'll just show you one by one, so you can make adjustments and then click the go button. So it's like it's a way of doing it with more control. So.
Okay.
For people like us do it for real estate, it's good. I've been using it already for a little while, of course, because I'm the insider. But
perfect.
All right. Thanks, Photomatix. Free to download and try, hdrsoft.com. And are we with that?
Are we done?
Moving along?
That's it?
I think so. Let's just remind everyone, photofocus.com/questions or questions@photofocus.com. Either way, you can find us. And questions and comments are all welcome. Please be gentle if they're real critical. We're big boys.
Leave us a review.
You don't have to be that gentle.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you were mentioning that.
Yeah.
On the podcast app.
Yes. Leave a review on the podcast app. And oh, hey, Ron, cut the music.
Music cut.
Okay. There is one thing that I gotta say. I have finally got my course online. It's ready. It's a go. And so, woohoo! All right. So, if anybody is wanting to get into real estate photography or has a passion for real estate photography, or if you're a realtor that wants to learn about real estate photography, then just go to Rob Moroto. That's Moroto. That's like, Mr. T with 3 O's in the middle. So robmoroto.com. And there will be a link. There will be a link to my course there. And if you use the promo code Photofocus,
nice,
you will get 20% off.
Nice.
All right, start music.
Rob is great at what he does. Check it out. I was watching it and I was picking up stuff from it. And I don't know, but I don't know real estate photography like Rob does, but I think I know. So check it out. And if we haven't forgotten anything with that, let's say we'll see you next week for Roundtable, and next month for more Q&A. So shoot us questions, shoot us ideas for topics, things that you want to know about. If you want me to approach someone, try to get them on, let me know that. Just whatever we'll do. And we will see you next time. Get out, go shooting. And adios.